Hey y'all, it's Sarah. It's a rainy day here, so I'm playing with miniatures and I wanted to share what I'm playing with today. So I just finished a video showing how I upgraded these Dollar Tree little styrofoam pumpkins, and now I want to talk about um, these little storage baskets and bins or planters or um, whichever you want to use them for. These are actually going to be laundry baskets in my dollhouse, but I wanted to share some ideas and just some recycling while I was sitting here playing and trying to stay dry. So I'm playing with lids and caps today, lids off of random things. Um, you can see these are just various lids. And I'm going to show you this one before I end up putting a base on it. You can see that is just a bottle cap lid. And I'm going to show you, is it this one maybe? Yeah. So you can see that one is from shaving cream, and then there's some slightly larger ones from other containers. So look around. I'm not sure what scale my house is on. I've kind of mentioned before that it is a Barbie size house, so I'm kind of free to work at whatever scale I want to. And really, I'm not keeping anything to scale. If it looks cute in there, I'm putting it in. So to get started on this, grab some lids. I've got some textiles that I wanted to share, some Dollar Tree ideas on getting the different textures and things like that without having to work too hard for it. So I wanted to share several ideas really quickly. Another thing you might want to do is cut some circles out of some cardstock or cardboard. I just use some craft paper color cardstock for one, and then since I haven't put a bottom on that one yet, I'll have one for that. So a few of those, but I'll have some other ideas for that too. So really quick, let me throw some ideas at you about fabrics and things you can look for to do cool textures. So I'm just going to pull a bunch of things over to me and share, and you'll recognize a lot of these Dollar Tree things. So they have these kind of linen type canvas bags. They're printed usually on one side and they're really plain on the other. So they have these. Don't forget, when you're looking at these, also look at the handles, because you'll be seeing me use handles off some things too. So that's an idea. They have this one, and the tag just fell off, but it says tall burlap bag. It's not, maybe it is burlap, but it's almost got like a wax plasticky lining inside of it, which is really cool. So this one's a really cool texture. They have their Dollar Tree little kids tote bags, and then they also have like their sun hats that are this texture. And then as far as talking about more texture, they have this burlap ribbon, which is 2 inches by 9 feet. And as far as another texture goes that I'm in love with, they have these, which is a flour sack towel. I have gotten so many uses out of these. They're actually really large, but this is such a great material to work with. The way it lays in dollhouse and miniature stuff. So there's another textile option. So now that I've shared all those ideas that you can be looking around looking at, let's go ahead and jump in. So I didn't do too much with these because I knew these have the this internal section. It's not a big deal to me. I knew that I would be stacking things inside some of my lids, so not that big of a deal. And it ends up helping not have to bulk it up as much inside to get things up out. So not a big deal for me, but whatever lids are going to work. These just happen to work out great. These are, I don't have to paint these. These are from spray paint cans. The great thing about these is they actually worked perfectly with this Dollar Tree ribbon. You could not ask for a better fit. That made this so simple. I went ahead and lined my starting seam up in this indentation part just to try to hide it better. And I found it was easier if I sat my lid down so that I could get the bottom, this bottom edge is really what I wanted to be flush. And it wasn't a big deal if the top edge was not flush because I'm going over it with my basket liner. So I really wanted the bottom part flush. It just made it easier to sit it on a flat surface and then spin it around. I have my one little basket pretty much finished, you can see. I'm going to go ahead and attach my little circle under the bottom just to kind of finish it off. So you can see it gives it a little more finished look. As far as finished looks go, I wanted to share this really quick. These are the Scarecrow hats they have right now. And I wanted to show you while we're doing baskets. So they just have like the little patchwork things on there. You can peel those right off. They're not glued. Very strong, to be honest. So I'm just going to take this bottom section and peel it right off of there. Now, in my dollhouse, I have been using these for like little placemats. But you can very easily pull that apart, and now you have like a little bottom for your baskets. And then you have a separate basket slash planter already made for you, just a slightly smaller one. And I'm going to slide that over to the side. I ended up filling that part up with a little bit of broken moss and just popping some greenery down in there. And you can line it the same way that I'm going to show how I lined these. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is pretty fun. And I love this material. This stuff that these purses and their little gardening hats are made out of. So these are almost like a ribbon, and there is a clear threading in there like fishing line, and if you get it started just right, you can take this entire thing apart. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump you guys. You can take this entire thing apart and it just becomes one massive long ribbon. So rather than stringing that entire thing out for you guys, I'm going to string a little bit of it out. So you can see it makes this whole cool ribbon looking thing. And I'm going to do this very similar, where I'm going to start in this indentation, just where it happens to be with this lid. But I'm starting with this indentation, and I'm starting at the very bottom and working my way around. And this one, there's a little bit of a trick to it to get an edge where it all lines up really nicely. Nothing too complicated. So same thing, I had better luck just setting it down on my surface and pulling that ribbon down. And when you're trying to get that bottom section done, you might want to tack it in place a little more than maybe the rest of it, just to make sure you're off to a good start and everything else just kind of falls in place from there. So I'm going to tack it all the way around that first bottom section. And then when I get over to where I started again, I'm just going to swing up really quick and hit this next row. And I might pop a little bead of glue somewhere in there just to help keep me on the right track. And I'm literally just trying to line those up edge to edge and keep them that way. And if you don't tack it, especially on this plastic lid, it's going to want to slide around on you. So a little more all the way until you wrap this all the way. You'll see where you kind of have a stopping point. Okay, got my little basket in place, and you can see that there is a side that lines up just right, and then you can kind of see that's right where we crossed over. Next thing I'm going to do is with my flour sack. I liked using this because it almost had that linen look, and it has edges that are finished like this, and then it's got the bottoms that are finished like this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this piece. And the easiest way is just measure around, make sure it's going to wrap around that. And we're going to cut a little of this out. I was not too specific with getting these completely filled. Although I did, you can see. I pretty much got them filled in. I wasn't too specific about whether or not they would, because I was using these kind of lids that had this center thing in it that I could bulk up and stack things in like I did with that. So I knew that it's almost like having a built-in riser inside of those. So where I have this finished edge, I'm going to just come in, and wherever my backside area is, starting from the inside, I just picked a spot. And honestly, I kind of found it easier to do it inside out like this. Tuck it down in there and then fold it over. And then you're just going to tack your little linen edges in place. And you're good to go. I did use a little glue on my edges just to stop it from fraying. Just as a heads up, you can kind of see that it will fray a little bit, but no big deal. So I cut this piece a little longer. You can kind of gauge. It's about, this thickness is about double my lid. And this is just if you've got these center pieces that you want to hide or cover. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do like the little cylinder inside. And then tilt it over. And that extra fabric just kind of bulks down there at the bottom, and you can glue it down around there so you can hide that little portion.